Yeah, so the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has also issued another circular or another update where where they have they have introduced a scheme, and the name of the scheme is Companies Fresh Start Scheme 2020. So to give you some background of this, whenever a company is formed, after that there are quite a few compliances on a regular basis. Like for example, conducting a board meeting, a general meeting, appointing an auditor, intimating the ROC, filing the financial statements with the ROC registrar of. When I say ROC, it is registrar of company, or they have to file annual return. They have to file income tax return. If GST is applicable, they have to file GST returns. If TDS provisions are applicable, then they have to file TDS return also. So there are numerous compliances. Limiting it to the only company law compliances, if a company has not filed documents on a particular within a particular point of time or within a prescribed time, then the ministry issues a show cause notice, or the company has to accordingly reply to the same and get it resolved at the earliest. Now, what they have done is on 30th of March 2020, the government has issued a circular, and by that circular, the government has introduced a particular scheme that we just discussed, the company's Fresh Start scheme. By this particular scheme, the companies can file any document within a prescribed time of 1st April 2020 to 30th of September 2020, and they can file any pending document that is filed with the government. So they can, suppose a company law compliance is skipped, missed, or whatever is the case, then they can file now and get it rectified. So basically it is a fresh start scheme. There are quite a few companies, like just take an example of few, both friends are coming together to start a company. Then later on they understand that, oh no, the business venture is not working, there are some issues in the business idea, and therefore we need to close down the company. So the company is kept just for the sake of keeping it for 1 or 2 years, and then after that the company is closed. But at till that point of time they have not done any documentation, and therefore there could be certain issues with the compliances. Now because of this, now because of this, there is a requirement of there is a requirement of filing the forms with a late fee or a penalty. Therefore, for such kind of companies, the fresh start scheme is very much applicable. So basically, the government is now ensuring that not lot of penalty and compliance burden is imposed on the directors, so that they can be relieved from their activities, and they can fresh start a particular company. So a very helpful scheme for all, and they have defined what is a defaulting company. So defaulting company means a company defined under the Companies Act which has made default in filing any document, statement, returns, including annual statutory documents with the MC 21, right? Then what happens in this particular case? Suppose you have filed all the pending documents in the last 2 years. You have filed all the documents. After the filing all this document, you need to file only one more form. This one more form is basically a form wherein you give a list of all the forms that you have filed during the scheme, and then you get an immunity certificate. Now this immunity certificate has nothing to do with COVID-19 immunity or immunity against COVID-19, but this certificate is specifically in relation to the immunity, that you will not, no action will be taken against you. This is a very important point. Suppose if a company files all the documents in the last year under the particular scheme, but the company doesn't file the immunity certificate or the immunity form, then it is as good as the company has not filed any form. So nothing will be taken on record, and everything will be very difficult for the company to prove. So filing this immunity form is very important. If this immunity form is filed and taken on record by the registrar, then no prosecution can be filed against you by the government. So this is the next compliance that we have to ensure. So filing that immunity form is very important. There are certain points where the provisions are not applicable to certain types of you can say certain type of form. I'll just read out one part about the effect of immunity. After granting the immunity, the designated authority, that is the registrar concerned, shall withdraw the prosecution pending before the concerned courts and the proceedings of adjudication of penalty under section 454. And therefore now they say that it shall be deemed that they have completed without any further action on the part of the registrar of company. So now, just like this particular compliance for the companies that they have introduced, that is the company fresh start scheme, the government has also introduced a LLP settlement scheme. So company fresh start scheme and LLP settlement scheme, these are two schemes that they have introduced. So LLP, probably you may be aware of, it is you can say a limited liability partnership. It has certain features of a company, it has certain features of a partnership firm. So LLP is viewed as an alternate business model or a business vehicle that provides the benefits of the LLP, but or provide the benefits of limited liability, but allows its members the flexibility of organizing their internal structure as partnership based on mutually arrived agreement. So they enter into an agreement. How we have got a partnership agreement? On similar lines, you have got an LLP agreement. So considering the flexibility in the structure and operations, LLP becomes a preferred option for small enterprises. So this is another important aspect for the small enterprises. So you can start your business or a entity either as a company or as an LLP. Now similar case, because in the case of LLP also you may have certain e-forms that are required to be filed, but they have not been filed. So the government has provided an opportunity for the companies and LLPs to complete whatever is pending within a prescribed time. So timelines are broadly the same. There is no change in that regard. I would also like to bring your attention to corporate social responsibility, because corporate social responsibility is a very important aspect. Basically, corporates are doing their activity and just to ensure that they are socially responsible also, the corporates are taking necessary initiatives and social initiatives and ensuring that they are spending the requisite amount. Now, under the Companies Act, certain class of companies, the provisions of CSR are applicable. Now, once the provisions of CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, the provisions are applicable, the companies are required to spend minimum 2% of the average net profit for the last 3 years. Now to calculate this and all, there are various provisions, but I will just come to some clarity which the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has provided in this regard. So the question was whether PM Care Fund shall qualify as a CSR expenditure. So the ministry has said that the contribution to PM Care Fund shall qualify as a CSR expenditure under the Companies Act, and there is no restriction for that. Now there are various in our country there are various states, and we may have Chief Minister Relief Fund also. So any contribution by any person to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund, maybe it can be for floods or it can be for earthquakes or it can be for COVID-19. If any contribution is made, then whether they can make it to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund and they can claim it as a CSR expenditure. So MC has clarified that Chief Minister's Relief Fund and State Relief Fund are not included, and therefore they will not be qualified as CSR expenditure in the company. Now suppose if you contribute to the State Disaster Management Authority, the question is whether it will qualify as a CSR expenditure. So MC has clarified that yes, State Disaster Management Authority, if you contribute, it will be considered as a you can say a contribution under the corporate social responsibility. Now another question is whether spending of CSR funds in COVID-19 relating to the activities. Now just take an example. During this COVID-19 and the lockdown, there are quite a few companies who have paid salaries and wages to the persons, to their employees. Now the question is that some companies are saying that we are doing this as a social service because there is no business operation, and therefore we want to have this particular expense even as a deduction for CSR. MC has clarified that you cannot claim this employee salary as a social responsibility. It is your moral obligation. It is your business obligation, and therefore there is no question of any social responsibility that you are doing. Now there are quite a few companies in India who have changed their business model, or they have taken various initiatives in doing the in contributing towards the COVID-19 situation. So some companies have provided PPE, some companies have manufactured and provided certain healthcare products and healthcare, you can say, whatever is required for the doctors. Certain companies have taken necessary efforts for the medicines. Certain companies are doing marketing and networking on behalf of the entrepreneurs. So there are quite a few activities that they are doing. So such activities, the question is whether that will amount to COVID-19 spending in COVID-19, whether it will amount to spending of CSR funds. So the MC has clarified that the funds may be spent on various activities to COVID-19, related to COVID-19, which will be promotion of healthcare, preventive healthcare, sanitation, and disaster management. And therefore, any activity which falls under this will fall under the CSR spending COVID-19 situation. Now, whether payment made to the casual daily wage workers during lockdown can it be adjusted against the CSR expenditure? Answer is no, you cannot, because ultimately you have some moral obligation, you have a contractual obligation, you have a humanitarian obligation, and therefore you cannot claim this as a social CSR expenditure. It is necessarily a business expenditure or a employee expenditure. So this is how the MCA has come out with a you can say some clarifications on the CSR expenditure. Now I would like to take some more topics or some more subtopics in relation to the company law compliances.